Well, it's another beautiful day out there, as always. And today, I want to talk about a couple things. The first thing is hope. Now, when you make a hope, okay, or when you have a hope, you're basically projecting what you want into the future. Now, as I said before, making the world what you want of it, okay, isn't a good thing, okay? And when you have a hope, you're projecting what you want the world to be into the future. And that includes relationships, cars, possessions, and so on and so forth, okay? And these things are traps. Because hopes are just trapping you in time. That's all they're doing. Okay? I mean, it's great to hope and everything if you want to hope for, a better world or something. Hope that all the people in the world won't starve to death as they're doing now at 100,000 persons a day or whatever it is. I'm sure it's more than that. Okay? In the 90s, it was 60,000 people a day. So it's way more than that now. So anyway, the point is that you have hopes. And these hopes are trapping you in time because you're hoping that something is going to happen in the future. Okay? That's going to make things better for you. Okay? It's going to make the world the way you want it. Okay? Whether that's because, that's how you've been taught, or because that's just the culture that you're in. These hopes are a trap. Okay? And the same thing with dreams. Now, if you have hope that you're going to, meet the right man or woman, okay? Then that is, great and everything. I hope you do meet the right woman or the right man. But it's a trap. Okay? Because if you don't meet the right man, which most likely will happen because that's just the nature of the world is constantly changing. Everything is going to be different than it is now. Really, the only thing that's not going to be different is the now. This moment. Every moment is now. Okay? Everything that happens in the world happens in the now. You cannot have something happening in the past. You can't have anything happening in the future. You only have this moment, okay? And if you start planning and dreaming for something to happen in the future, okay? Let's take going to school, all right? You dream you're going to go to college, you hope you're going to go to college, whatever it is. Hopes or dreams, basically the same thing, okay? And you pin all your hopes, language is so funny, isn't it, on this idea that you are going to be able to do something in the future to make your life better, right? And then the future comes and no medical school will accept you because you didn't get good enough grades in college or whatever, okay? Or whatever it is that you're hoping for or dreaming of. Now, that's what hopes do for you, okay? And I'm not trying to say don't hope for anything. Obviously, that's the part of the human condition. We all are going to hope for things. But what we need to do is accept what is. Now, dreaming for things is similar to hoping for them. Hopes and dreams of the people of America, blah, 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 blah. Okay? In these dreams, we're dreaming of a better life. I mean, like, for instance, Martin Luther King said, I dream of a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the color of the character, or whatever it was. Okay? Which is a great thing, and I hope that happens too. Okay? But having a dream is the surest way to suffer. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't dream of the future. If you want to, go ahead. Okay, I'm not going to stop you. But it is going to end badly because of broken dreams. Okay? That's what happens. Your dream gets broken. You meet a girl and you get married, or you meet a boy and you get married. Okay? And then you think everything's going great, right? You think it's all good. Okay? And then suddenly, for whatever reason, it's bad. And now all your hopes and dreams, which were in this girl or in this man, get shattered. Right? That's what happens. Okay? And now all of your hopes and dreams are shattered around you, and you have to try and pick up the pieces. Okay? But it's all an illusion. Okay? That's what it is. It's an illusion. The person who you thought was going to be with you forever leaves. Okay? Or the person you thought was going to be there forever dies. Okay? And then you're left with broken dreams, which is suffering. That's what it is. Okay? Now, there's lots of other things that you can suffer from, that's for sure. But hopes and dreams are like the worst. We want to make the world the way we want it to be. That's what we want to do. And we make these dreams and hopes as like, oh, if I dream of this, it'll happen. Or if I dream of one day becoming a doctor and blah, 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 blah. But when you were in school, you got stoned too much and you didn't pay enough attention. And so you didn't get into medical school. You couldn't be a doctor. So now your life is wrecked. Right? And that's the way it is. Okay? And you have to be a dentist or a pediatrician or whatever it is that you didn't want to be. And pediatricians are doctors too. Anyway, so that's what the problem with dreaming is. And I certainly don't want anyone to have a broken dream or a busted dream, but that is what will happen. If you plan for a future, that's what you're basically doing when you're dreaming. You're planning for a future, okay? That is going to happen to make your life better. That's what we're doing. When we're hoping and dreaming, that's what we're doing. We're making a model, okay, of the universe, and wherein we get what we want. It's silly, isn't it? But that's the way it is. Now, the problem with all this is that the universe is really good at crushing models, really good at breaking dreams, really good at dashing hopes. That's just what the universe is good at, okay? And that's the way it is. And people are very unreliable. So that's why you see people with just no life at all, because they love somebody and that somebody decided that they weren't good enough. And that was it. Okay? So, but the way not to be in that situation, the way not to be ruined, is to accept what is and not to dream of things that probably won't happen, because the future is constantly changing. You are constantly changing. And that's just the way it is. And as long as we cling, which is what we're doing, we're clinging to these dreams, okay? Then when they break, which they will, okay, because people are reliable, the future is always changing, because it doesn't exist, therefore it's constantly in flux, okay? But as long as we cling to these things, which we do, then we are going to suffer. That is the nature of the isness. But the way to get liberated from the clinging to the dream is to accept what is. Okay? If you have some kind of an emotion which makes you feel bad about your life, okay, which you do, okay, you fight against it, which isn't going to help anything, so you must accept. And if you believe that something's going to happen in the future that's going to make life better for you, which you do, okay? And I hope it does. Believe me, I hope it does. But it's not going to, because that is the nature of the business. And you will suffer and have broken dreams, okay? And that's just the way it is, okay? I don't want anybody to have broken dreams. I've had plenty of broken dreams. My first wife and I, we thought we were going to be together forever. It didn't work out, okay? And my second wife and I, we thought we were going to be together forever too, okay? And then we were going to have a wonderful life with kids and blah, 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 blah. And we did have a kid, but it's still wound up broken, okay? And so, in order to not have that happen, in order to not have these broken dreams be what your life is made of, okay, which is what they are, we have to stop hoping and dreaming and start accepting what is. I know this is hard. I know this stuff is very difficult to get your head around. You know, that's all we do is we've done this since we were old enough to be reason, you know, to have reason, you know, the age of reason. Okay, hoping and dreaming. Okay, when you were in 5th grade, okay, and you wanted the girl next door to pay attention to you, or the girl in your class to pay attention to you, or whatever it was, you hoped they would. And then when they rebuffed you, you were suffering, right? Because you didn't get what you wanted. And these things are the nature of suffering, okay? And we need to accept what is. And that way we will not suffer by this manner, okay? We have, you know, a behavior pattern, okay, that goes through the entire human, you know, thing that we have, okay? The whole population has this behavior pattern. That behavior pattern is to hope for things, okay? That's just the way it is. And we dream. We dream for a better life, okay? But the fact is you cannot make yourself better by dreaming and hoping. You can't make the world better by dreaming and hoping, okay? The only way that makes you better is by doing something, okay? Not hoping for it. So we have to just stop hoping for things that won't happen. You go to school, and then college, and then maybe you get a graduate's degree or whatever it is, and you come out and you want to be a scientist, okay, or whatever it is. And so you get a job at some university or whatever, and then the next thing you know, AI comes along and they can do science better than you can. Okay? And 90% of the staff gets fired, you along with it, and now you can't get a job doing science, right? That's the way it goes. And so, therefore, we have to accept what is. And our dream of being a scientist is just going to be shattered. You know, I'm not saying don't try to be something, but if you try to make things happen in this time, hoping that it's going to affect some other time, then you're gonna suffer. That's just the way it is. So, to not suffer, that's what I'm trying to get happening, is what it's all about. It's very, very easy to dream and hope and so on and so forth, because that's part of the nature of being human. But it doesn't solve anything. We're still going to be unhappy because that is the nature of being human too. And you know, I don't want anyone to be unhappy because, you know, that's not good for anyone. But it's unfortunately billions of people are unhappy, and that is the way it is, and I must accept that. And, you know, I do. So try and realize that you are not a person. Try and realize that you are a soul. Try and realize that you are a consciousness. Okay? Awareness. Everything else just isn't you. Okay? If you don't like God or souls or whatever, just go with consciousness. You are consciousness. Okay? And your house and your car and your wife and your kids aren't you. We say they are. We say they're my kids and my wife and my house and my car. That means we're taking possession of them, making them part of us. The ego loves that. They like that. Okay? Because it helps them feel big. But these things cause unhappiness. Okay? Just like dreams and hopes do. So, try not to dream for something. Try to accept what is. I know it's hard not to accept what is. I get that. It's hard. You know, you're living in a trailer park and you don't have enough money to go to school and you think your life's going nowhere and blah, blah, blah. No, I understand that, okay? But if you accept that that is what is, okay, then you will see a change, because accepting what is how we get better. Only by accepting. If you continue to believe that the world is something that you can change, okay, which maybe you can't. Maybe you can't change it. I don't think you can, but maybe you could. Okay, I mean, ask all the people that have been trying to clean up the oceans. Have they done any real damage on the plastic? No, because more keeps going in. Okay, and however much you clean up the oceans and blah 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 blah, it's just going to keep getting worse, because that is the nature of what is. There's no point in trying to do anything to make the future better, because the people that are in charge of things don't want it to be better. They want it to be profitable. And it's not going to be profitable if there's no plastic. That's all there is to it. And no oil. Okay? So, that's what it is. That's what's going on. If you accept that, if you accept that that is the nature of the isness, okay, then you'll be a lot happier, because you won't have dreams and hopes that it's going to be different. Okay? That's just the way it is. It's not going to be different. It's going to be the same. That's the way it is. Okay? I know that's kind of a harsh lesson. We all want things to be better and different. But the fact of the matter is that no matter what we do, it's going to be the way it's going to be. And there's nothing we can do about that. Okay? Unhappiness is what we're trying to fight here. Okay? I know you're unhappy because everyone is. And I want you to be happier. Okay? And the way to be happier is to accept what is. Okay? Accept that your dream isn't going to become true. Simple as that. Okay? You want to be a hairdresser. You want to be a this. You want to be a that. Okay? That's your dream. That's your hope. Okay? In order to do that, in order to have that happen, okay, you need to do certain things. And maybe you're not going to be good at certain things. Maybe things will happen that make things impossible for you to be a hairdresser or whatever. Okay? That's because the universe is constantly changing. This planet is constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. People are constantly changing. Okay? If you marry somebody and love things about them and the next day they're different, well, that's just the way it is, because everything is constantly changing. Okay? And so, how do we make ourselves accept what is? Well, for starters, realize that you are not a person. You are the awareness, okay, that exists within the person. That's who you are. And I I've called that a soul. I've called that other things. I believe in God, in a sense, not necessarily the God of the Bible, but God in the sense of the source. And therefore, I believe in some kind of a spark that is within us that keeps us alive, just like the spark that keeps the trees alive, the grass alive. Okay? But that doesn't matter what I believe in. What matters is what you believe. And you have to decide what that is. Okay? If you want to believe in a God with a long beard who's up in heaven at the gate waiting for you when you come, by all means believe that. I'm not saying that's not necessarily true. We don't know. That is the fact, we do not know. So we have to accept what happens. And that means we have to let go of stuff. Okay? Because that's just the way it is. By accepting things, we make it possible to let go. Simple as that. You can't let go of something unless you have accepted it. Okay? And that means you have realized that it's not going to happen. You realize that you're not going to get the coffee the way you wanted it. You realize that you're not going to have the career you wanted to have. And that's the way it is. And so you accept that. Okay? And that is how it is. Boom. Okay? And now you're no longer suffering about what you accepted. You can fight against the fact that you're not going to have the career you wanted. You can fight against the fact that you're not going to get what you wanted. By all means, fight. But it's not going to do any good. What will do good is to accept that you're not going to get that career. Accept that you're not going to get that job. Accept that you're not going to have that man or woman. Okay? And then the bad feeling, okay, won't be as bad. Okay? That's really what it is. It's a bad feeling. Okay? When you don't accept what's happening, you get a bad feeling. Sorry. I must accept the fact that I'm getting older, and that part of being older is that I'm getting tired, and that I'm going to slow down and eventually die. Okay? If I fight against that isness, then I will suffer. And since I don't want to suffer, I won't fight against it. I'll accept it. I mean, look at these wrinkles. Look at my hand. All right. All of that says that I'm slowly decaying, and you're slowly decaying too. Because as long as you're over 25, that means you're slowly decaying. Okay. Simple as that. Because once you stop growing, then you start decaying. That's it. Okay? Anyway, to continue on about these dreams and hopes, you're basically dreaming, okay, of something that's probably not going to happen. Maybe you'll find the right man, maybe you'll find the right job, maybe you won't. But if you have a dream, okay, about what's going to happen in your mind, then you are going to suffer. And that's as simple as that. Nothing can change what is. As much as we want it to. Nothing can change it. That's the way it is. Okay? And we have to accept what is in order to let it go. As long as we're continuing to fight against the isness, and we are continuing to do that, okay, then we will suffer. That is the nature of the isness. I'm getting older. I'm going to die at some point in the future. And as such, I'm going to have less energy and less ability to do what I want to do. And if I don't accept that, then I will be in suffering over it. Okay? You used to be able to throw a football, right? You used to be able to walk. You used to be able to run. You used to be able to do all sorts of things. Now you can't do those things. Right? That's the way it is. Okay? So you have to let them go. Not sit in your wheelchair or your bed saying to yourself, man, I was so good back in the day. I really had it all. Look at me now. Look at the horrible mess I'm in now. Oh my God. That's suffering. You're telling yourself a story about what you think it is. But that's not what it is, because you are suffering. Okay? And as long as you cling to that story and cling to your hopes and dreams, then you're going to suffer, and that is just going to be the way it is. That's not the way I want it to be, but that is the way it was set up. Okay, by our ancestors. And that's just the way it is. We try to make the world the way we want it to be, and we've done a great job. We fought against nature, we've conquered nature. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because the world is going to change, and we are going to change with it, whether we want to or not. And as long as we're clinging onto these dreams and hopes for the future, we are going to suffer. And I don't want anyone to suffer. But unfortunately, people are suffering. And that's the way it is. So, try to remember who you are. Try to remember that you are a soul, okay? And that you are part of God. God is who you are. All of the human beings in the world, all of the aliens, all of the life forms on different planets, all of it is part of God. It's all one thing. You cannot be separate. I know you want to be separate, because that's just what we are. That's just what we do. But it can't be. We can't be separate from anything, because it's part of us. We are part of everything, and everything is a part of us. The farthest star, okay, is part of me, and it's part of you too. And if you continue to believe that you are separate, you are going to suffer. All right, well, I guess that's enough about hopes and dreams. Just try and remember what all this is about, which is not being a person who suffers. That's it. And I've taught you, shown you the way to not do that. Now, if you have any questions or comments about what I've said on any of my videos, please send me the questions in the comments section. And if I, don't respond, well, I'm a busy guy. Okay, but I'll try to respond. And I'll try to make videos about your questions to answer them, because I'm sure these questions that you have, everybody has them, because that's the nature of life. All right, well, it's been a wonderful time talking to you. I love you all, because you're me. All right, have a great life.